in this presentation, we are going to talk about the TOT training session. It's training for the trainers. It's kind of master trainers training session. So let's start. First of all, we have to be introduced and be aware of what we do understand by training of the trainers. So by this sort of training, we try to train our leaders or teachers to train the best practice in teaching methodologies. So what do we get from these? We will generally try to cover one after another. So first of all, this generic training of trainer course is participationary course, and its major goals are to establish a core team of trainers who have revealed skills in planning, designing, and supporting them, in-house training requirements in their functional areas, provide participants with opportunity to acquire and practice skills in designing training programs, and to enhance their ability to deliver training sessions. So I think training like these will highly enhance the capacity of our teachers and trainers that will gradually come into action for both our academic platform and UPTC. So in this session, we would generally take some expectation words from our participants, that what do they expect from the training. So if we go deep inside the training, so first of all, the most important methodology or concept of teaching or learning is these two key words of terminology, that is pedagogy and andragogy. So first of all, we need to understand what they mean. The term pedagogy was derived from the Greek word paid, meaning child, and agogos, meaning leading. Thus, it is defined as the art and science of teaching children. And if we just move on to the next term, then which is andragogy, was coined by researchers for adult learning in order to construct their beliefs about learning or to the pedagogical model. So the concept of andragogy implies the self-directness and an active student role, as well as solution-centered activities. So from this slide, what we are trying to conclude that the first term, which is pedagogy, is involved with the child teaching and learning module. So in this module, actually, what we teach our students, they directly try to absorb from that. But when we come to the adult learning and teaching platform, that they generally tries to connect their experience over the period that they have already passed, like what they have earlier learned, they always try to connect with their memory. So whenever we try to train them or teach them something new, then they tries to connect their information with the previous exposure for the same terminology. So when we try to teach an adult person, then it is absolutely imperative to try to understand his background. So before starting a session with an adult learner, we should take some introductory session and try to learn about his background. In that way, we can customize our training modules and also our lecture dimensions, so that we can get more connected with our students during the training session. So designing a training session for adult participants, keys we need to focus on is, we know the 6 characteristics of adult learners. We need to, or you need to know how adults learn best. Then you need to know your participants' profile as adult learners have special needs, and you need to know the various training techniques. Finally, you need to know which training will be suitable for which adult or what topics. Since we are dealing with an institute, or we are university, college, or we are teaching undergraduate students, or those who are adults, so we need to design our course curriculum, we need to design our presentation, we need to be appearing in a professional way, focusing on these things. So the 6 principles of adult learning are as follows. The adults are internally motivated and self-directed. Internally motivated means he has his own purpose before learning anything, and self-directed means if we just connect with them logically, then we can direct them or take control over their thinking, so that we can show them which one to focus on and what should be learned for the next term. adult bring life experience and knowledge to learn experiences. So what this topic has just mentioned in my previous slide. And then adults are goal oriented. So before doing anything, he need to set up his goal. Otherwise, he will not find any interest in the training session or subject areas. So first of all, before starting any session, we should take their motivation statements so that we can calculate, or we can already counsel with them before starting the course about the importance of that course, or how the course is going to impact his learning curve. So adults are relevancy oriented. So in a class, for example, if we deal with the children, for example, take a student class of class 5 or 6, then if we study gossiping during the class, they won't mind. But if we give a lecture to PhD class students, then they will definitely analyze each one of my statements and try to find out the relevance or consistency with the statements that I'm dealing, or the topic was mentioned during the training commencement. So before, during the delivery of such sessions, we should be always keep our relevance with the subject area. So adult are practical. So when we try to give some examples, we should pick up some real life examples in front of them, so that they can get more connected, or more more clear visual of the term you are trying to explain in front of them. So, and the last point is that learners like to be respected. So when we teach them, we should always respect their feelings, their personality, and their knowledge that they already have. So these are the 6 key principles which are really important while dealing with adult student or adult learners. So for each characteristics, there are implications for you, the trainer. So there are implications for us. So what are the implications? For example, number 1, adult learners are autonomous and self-directed. So what that means is we need to involve participants, we need to serve as facilitators, and we need to determine interest of the learners. So serving as a facilitator means the training module you are going to provide, you need to also provide the resources to them, so that they can engage themselves within the subject area of the training module. And then if we come to the next point, then adult learners have a foundation of life experience and knowledge. So which connect to our previous point that we discussed in 6 principles. So what is the implication for this? You see, it is to recognize expertise of participants. So if we just try to pick up the initial information from our students, then we should also focus on trying to find out their talents or expertise areas, so that we can always refer to their areas, so that they can feel more connected or more into the session. And then encourage participants to share their experience. So since they always learned referring to their experience, previous exposure, so we should always ask for their experience that they have already had related to the topic that we are going to deliver our session or training for the day. And the third one is adult learners are goal oriented, that we already discussed. So the implication is be organized, have clear objectives. So in a session with the adult learner, you have to be organized before starting a presentation, and you have to be precise during the session. And then for the next term, the adult learners are relevancy oriented, which was initially mentioned. So the implication is explain how training objectives relate to the training activities. So the target or the initial subject area should be explained during the training modules, that I am tailing this one because it will affect your learning related to the subject area on this way, if you do these activities, then you will gain the necessary skills to fulfill the objective of the training session today. So we should show them the implication of relevance during the training session. And then The adult learners are practical. So the implication in this session is now need to show relevance of training to jobs. So the skill I am offering to them, it should have a job impact so that they can feel their necessity of learning such experience and skills at the same time. So, and the final point for today is adult learners need to be respected. So while dealing with the students, we should always think about, be careful about the words and actions we do in front of them. We should always respect them so that they respect us back. And it will be a winning situation, and thus they will have more interactive relationship during the session we are about to conduct. So acknowledge the wealth of and knowledge and experience the participants bring to the training. So he comes here because he knows something. For example, if he is studying at aeronautical engineering, so he have already passed the previous exams, he has already have good academic track record. So if he is coming for the CSC, he has already science background and he did well. That is why he dared to take a subject like CSC. So we should respect them. We should encourage them that you have all the capacities needed for this course. So thus we can have their motivation. We have their maximum engagement. And for the final session, for the final term, treat the participants as equal rather than subordinates. So take your teaching environment in a level like you and your participants are dealing in the same layer. For example, try to be friends with them, or try to be in a state so that they can feel that the psychological gap or mental gap is almost nothing. You are thinking on a same topic from a same layer. So in that way, the interactive platform will be created and the session will be more effective, I think. So that's all for today's session. And thank you everyone for having your precious time with me. Allah Hafiz.